he looked perfect. So even though he was shy, he had to pursue me, a rock star, and that's exactly what ended up happening. It was a million things that happened that had to prove that he was him. But in the beginning of the relationship, I was like, I'm not going to manipulate this to become something because I want to know it's God. And so I kind of just hid myself away for him, like romantically, and we were just really good friends for a while. And he walked it out, and he didn't kiss me until he asked me to marry him a year later. And we didn't have sex till our wedding night, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced.
That's awesome. I'm going to get Bethany now. She said not to say anything, but I'm going to just say, okay? I'm going to get her good. We were talking about being single, and she's like, you're single? I'm like, yeah, I'm single. And she's all, are you single? She's like, yeah, I'm single too. She's like, don't tell anyone. But, sorry, my bad. We break all the rules anyway. But this is what's going on. But this is cool. This is why I want to call you out. Because what we did agree on is we're like, you know what? Let's not waste time and go through the process of dating and getting exhausted, like she said. Like, we're just waiting on God to bring that right person and not wasting time dating and going through all the motions. God will bring that person. So, let's hit on that. Like, where are you at? And I'm not trying to blow you up because you're single, but just you're waiting on God. What's going on with you?
Yeah.
How do you want to encourage these girls?
I'm 22, and I thought one thing would be cool to share with you guys is when I was in like junior high or high school, we started this little girls Bible study where it was just girls, and we'd go down to the beach and hang out and surf or do whatever, and then do a little Bible study. And we went through this one book during a part of our time, and it was kind of on like this subject we're talking about, like purity and marriage and stuff like that. And it was just really cool because it was just kind of explaining how important it is to just wait for that right person and just seek God with all your heart. Like we're young, and like you don't need to waste your time like chasing after people when you could be chasing after God and developing that relationship, which is no doubtably never ending. And I don't know, I just have been blessed with amazing friends, like girlfriends that I'm still good friends with, and they're always encouraging me, and it's just cool to know that God's in control, and don't worry about that kind of stuff. And yeah, we go through stages where we have like hormones, and you have a crush on this boy or that boy or whatever. But yeah, it just gets messy, and you don't want to deal with that. And yeah, and aside from that, like girls, like especially to you girls, like just know that like you are beautiful, especially in God's eyes, and like you don't need to hurt yourself or I don't know where I'm going with this, but
no, that's right. There's that verse that says in Song of Songs, it says, "Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires." And it's because once you get there, it's just full steam ahead, But before that, you just need to be kind of like asleep until God's like, "It's time to wake up now," And it's really, really cool process. Yeah.
How do you feel? Let's see. What's a good question here? Okay. Lacey. It got all awkward, all the single stuff. Sorry about that, okay?
It's good.
No, but it's true, man. You know what? Just God has someone for you, and maybe you're not ready for that person yet. Maybe, if you're like me, you're all tweaked still. God has to clean you up.
Yeah.
You're still cleaning me up, I would have tortured her. I dated 6 months. I dated this girl when I first came to the Lord, and I was like, I'm going to end up in a butt-naked wrestling match with you. I got to go. I'm like, that will happen because I was fresh out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, nope. I'm like, I'm single till a long time. But I don't need to that. I want to love God and do what God has called us to do, and I don't want to disqualify myself, you know what I mean? I want to be on the front lines. I want to be impacting the world, and people are looking at us because we're telling them about God and telling them, what God's done. And if we go around, being like a hypocrite or being shady and doing stuff that's not, if we aren't practicing what we're preaching, we're useless. There's no power in that. And like I said, the obedience to God is where the power comes in our lives.
Well, there's that crazy thing that happens when you date well, is that the thing that happened whenever you first noticed like the opposite sex, and you're like, that guy's sitting by me, oh my God, he's sitting right beside me, oh my God. And then all of a sudden his hand touches yours, you're like, oh my God, his hand just touched mine, oh my God. It says all those feelings that you have because you're innocent, and you're like, that just happened, that happened for a year in my relationship with my husband, and it was the most magical, like, continuous thing. And I saw that, like, the book Twilight. It wasn't my favorite book, but it was, the thing I liked about it was that they showed that obsession, that because they waited to have sex till they got married, and there's this passion there that was continuous of like, oh my gosh, like just constantly, and that's the thing that we miss out on when we rush into a relationship with somebody physically. We're just like, we miss out on that whole process, and it kind of ties you in even more. Like, it's just been an amazing thing to, I don't know, experience.
I did it the opposite. I would sleep with a girl, then I'm like, wait, do I like her? And then I had to well, I'm having sex with her, so maybe I should like her. It was just weird. But anyway, but that's the truth. That's how people are.
Yes,
at least all my friends.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about, how do you think the Whosoever's movement is making a difference in the world? What do you see? What do you think about it?
I think it's just rad. It's just a humble group of people that are talented in some way or another, and that love God, and that's what we all should be like, is just sharing our love for God and just be real with each other and everything that we've been through, and being able to encourage each other. And yeah, we should just do this every day.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's take it around the world.
Yeah. Cool.
And thank